What it is, Tyrus here, and you're watching the Dominick Natty Show. Enough said.
You were involved in a sexual harassment lawsuit with your co-host, Britt McHenry. Has this case been dismissed?
I have no comment about that situation because I'm not going to bring any light to it.
Okay. So I understand that. I mean, can you comment on like what Fox producers said to you when this lawsuit came up?
Didn't say anything to me. Like I said, I have no comment.
No comment at all. Okay. Nope. I know that I see everyone writing in there, so you're not going to address that. Okay.
No reason to.
Right. With no reason to. Shepard Smith recently said that Fox News spreads misinformation, and he wonders how people sleep at night. So were you friends with Shepard? And what are your thoughts on him saying that Fox spreads misinformation?
To say Fox spreads misinformation is misinformation, but all I can do is talk about my experience at Fox News. And never once my entire career have I ever been pulled aside, given a note saying this is where we need you to go, or say this tonight, or be this way. Anything that I have said on Fox has come from my own mouth and my own desire to say what I want to say. Sometimes it was unpopular. Sometimes people didn't agree with me, but I said what I wanted to say. So what an individual does with the time or the platform that they're given by Fox News, I would say the responsibility clearly falls on them. If it comes out your mouth and you decide you own it, it's yours.
What do you think of Chris Cuomo?
I think he really likes his own catchphrases. Like a catchphrase, you say it and it's either embraced, but if you keep pushing it, like, let's get after it. But when the fans don't say it back, it doesn't work. You need to move on. But I commend his commitment to his catchphrase.
Do you think he tries too hard to be a trendsetter?
I think so, a little bit, yeah.
Your mother is white and your father is black.
Yeah.
But you only identify as black.
Never had another option. Never was given
because of the way you look. Right, is that what you're saying?
The culture and society that I lived in growing up and live in now, it's literally been brought up every time. I mean, when Barack Obama became president of the United States, did you hear anybody saying, the white guy is in? No. He's black. He's the first black president. His mama was white. Mama was super white, Midwest white. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get much whiter than the Midwest. And you never heard anybody say, like, well, you know, the white guy's in, because that's just the way our society and culture works, and I'm fine with it.
Have you experienced racism at Fox News?
Have I, from my coworkers? No.
What I mean, every black person experiences racism almost in every work environment, right?
Yeah, but not. I'm telling you right now, I have been. You look at Greg Gutfeld, Dana Perino, Jesse Waters, Sean Hannity, all these guys. Whatever your persona of them is on TV, these are wholesome, good people. I personally don't agree with Sean Hannity on much, but he's one of the guys that I would say that if you were in trouble and you needed something, this guy would be there. He's that kind of a guy. Whether you agree with his stuff, whether his opinions and his opinions on politics and things like that, I don't agree with probably 95% of them.
Isn't Fox the one that's just, they'll try to make people believe that Black Lives Matter, people that are fighting for a racial injustice are a terrorist group, or that they're...
I support Black Lives Matter, and I'm on Fox.
Okay.
And all day long. Do I agree with some of their political stuff? No. But I think Barack Obama said it best, like, Black Lives Matters, no more, no less, but equal. We want the same as everybody else. Listen, I've been face down the ground with a 45 in the back of my head by a police officer. I get it. I've been there with the bad cops been pulled me over. I've also been pulled over by some damn good, honorable police officers. So, you know, unfortunately, does those things still happen? Yeah. Do they suck? Yeah. Do I talk to my kids about being pulled over? Yeah, I started that conversation when they were 6. Because if they're in the car with me, they need to understand the potential, you know, like it's a real thing. I don't doubt it. I don't disclaim it. Again, I think the biggest misnomer about Fox News is that the competition has created this, you know, Brian Stellers of the world, who used to work there. The Brian Stellers of the world, they like to create these, like this evil story of what it is at Fox News. And I'm telling you right now, I would walk away in 2 seconds if somebody called me out my name. Let's take a look at Don Lemon. I mean, Don pushes his opinion nonstop. Now, if you agree with it, it's fine. But when he was trashing Ice Cube and he was saying all these, because Ice Cube was trying to potentially work with somebody because it was about the greater good, and working with people you don't get along with or don't have the same ideology is a good thing, because you might actually, the only way you learn from each other is dialogue. You know, and we keep missing that instead of trashing somebody. Like I watch Bill Maher every Friday. Bill Maher is the godfather of this business, in my opinion. Like every one of us who are sitting there having this conversation is because we saw Bill Maher. You know, when you look at talk comedy and politics, like Bill Maher is where it's at. And to deny that because you don't agree with some of the things he says is ignorant to me.
How do you feel that the Obamas did for the black community when they were in office?
I think he did. I think personally, I would have liked him to take a few more risks, but I think Obama played it safe. I think his goal, I don't think his goal was ever to be the first black president for black people. He wanted to be the president for every American, and his decisions were based off that. And I think he did sometimes I wish he would have done maybe one or two things more, like, for example, prison reform. I think President Trump really raised the bar on prison reform, and he won't get any credit for it because he's attacked so much by mainstream media. But opportunities for prison reform, I thought President Obama could have done more.
Are you happy with what Trump did for black people? Like, do you feel that he made it easier for white supremacists to be vocal?
President Trump, he's from that generation that, you know, and President Biden's also from that generation where everything was individual, you know, but then when they don't know someone, they rely on stereotypes. That's typically what that generation does. If you work for me, if you're good for me, I don't give a damn what color you are, you know, but if we don't get along, that's usually the first thing they bring up when they're in arguments with people. Do I think President Trump made things easier for white supremacists? I think we know more about them now because some of the comments that he made that weren't in the best light or were extorted, or when he goes back and changes it. And when you get a news story that says black man assaults white woman outside of a store, immediately lines are drawn. Everyone's like, oh my God, because that's the headline. Then you actually read the story and it's not quite as salacious as it made out. We become news for ratings. So if they actually told the crime that was committed, a man committed assault and was arrested, and at the very last paragraph and his description was, you know, 5'10", 110-pound African American, it wouldn't be a racist thing.
Right.
It'd be like, this guy was an idiot who committed a crime. The color of his skin is irregardless, you know what I'm saying? But because it's black, then immediately, then you get into the people, then you get the idiots who get on there and be like, see, this is what black guys do. But who's giving them that light? The media is. You know,
what
it's
media?
Just across the board. Like when we stop saying black this, white this, Asian that to describe someone, to get people to flip the pages of the story, and we actually just told the damn story and left their skin color out, we wouldn't be arguing so much about it. It's just because that's such an easy out for anything. Anyone, you and I have this conversation, and any question you ask me that because you're racist, try to make a brother look bad. You just ask a question. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But now I made it about race. And there's too much of that. There's too much whataboutism and too much everything's racist to the point where it doesn't mean anything. White supremacist is used so much that an actual real one gets the same attention as someone who just says something that maybe not necessarily can be construed a certain way. Or if you criticize someone of a different color, you're racist instead of you're talking about their work ethic and their character. You know what I'm saying? There's too much of just trying to, and it's an easy out.
Hey, I've been working in media for 15 years. You work in media. It's a weird business because no people group is actually attacked more than the media because we don't really even stick up for ourselves. We attack, we're guilty of it, but it works. That's the problem. If I said human attacks human, that headline doesn't get picked up. But because that's the truth. They're just people. And I think social media proves that. You start spreading footage of white people fighting and throwing up, acting stupid. And it's like, well, wait a minute, look at these thugs. And I see my black friends say it, and they're right. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm Italian. Like, we act just as stupid as everybody. It's
stupid to pass around.
Yeah, like it's everybody, and I get when they say that, and they're right. They're like, oh, look at these thugs. They look different, because they're rednecks or whatever. You know what I mean? Or, you know, but it's the same thing. It's humans attacking humans. But if they, you know, had dreads, it would be like, oh, then they're thugs. Look at the people that stormed the Capitol building.
Yeah.
What if those people were black? Think about that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, honestly, that would be a. I know that you think about that because you're. But I'm saying, like, oh, for a lot of white people, I'm like, well, imagine that. Like, just all black people go climbing over it. Like, imagine how your psyche would think. You know, and it's. I know that you already know this, but there's a lot of people. I'm like, think about it. But it's like, it's amazing how people talk where they're like, well, those are probably good, hardworking people. And your network said that. I mean, not that you're responsible for it, but I'm saying it's like, dude, you don't know if those are good, hardworking people, most of them. Like, you don't know anything about them. They could be thugs. They could be criminals.
They could be. They could be model citizens at a library. I really don't care.
Yeah.
Attempted insurrection and a coup. So really what they did before that day is irrelevant. It's just like anything else. You literally could be the greatest artist in the world. Your work's everywhere. And then one day you kill somebody. You're a murderer for the rest of your life. Forget all the work you did in your art. It's the same thing. So again, whenever you try to paint a nicer picture of someone to try to like somehow comfort what they did, it's the same BS. It's because when they are under your flag, your tribe, when they're under your hut in terms of like Republican or right wing or left wing, I said I've been very like I don't care if you're burning buildings in Oregon or you're attacking the Capitol in D.C. You're the same bad people. We need to stop giving them crutches like, oh well, they're diehard conservatives and they're Antifa. No, take all the names away. They're criminals who chose to break the law. They saw a protest and they took advantage of it. They were always looters and pillagers. They were nothing more. And when you even talk to them and ask them, like, well, why did you break? Oh, because they just saw shiny
Opportunity.
and let's just go do it. And they get grouped in.
And do you watch a show called 90 Day Fiance?
Okay, I was held against my will by my wife to watch 90 Day Fiance.
Don't say it like that. You like it.
Because luckily I complained enough and we broke away. And once we started watching The Curse of Oak Island, life got a lot better.
But you did watch 90 Day Fiance. Do you remember any of the?
I watched
your wife wanted
to affect my life. My brain, I felt myself getting dumber. I started.
That's the show. Involved. Yeah, that's the one. I
became friends with Tom, and then I realized he takes a lot of damn selfies, like way too many selfies. And I just every time on Instagram he pops up, he's like this close doing something like that, and I'm just like, I didn't. I'm not. That's not really my thing, bro. Like, but my problem is I always end up supporting the guys on 90 Day Fiance, and then they end up making me look like an idiot, you know. But Tom's whole situation, I was all about. Tom was my guy. You know, we talked a couple times. He was actually we were trying to get him on our podcast, but at the time they were so big, you know, we just couldn't.
Yeah.
Flying back and forth in New York and London, we weren't able to get it down. And then once they move on to the other story, it's like the fans just kind of forget about them. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's the cool part about reality TV. It's like you're only as good as the last time you threw champagne at somebody.